What is it that makes Sri Lanka unique? And even suitable as a cycling destination? Is it the national parks? Or the strange temples and golden Buddhas? Or is it the amazing beaches that line its coasts? Sean and I tried to find out in 2013 by cycling 900 kilometres in a circle. We first headed north along the coast from Colombo, but that was very hot and humid. So then we went east inland and came across Sigiriya. Sigiriya was the most interesting rest stop we came to north of Colombo. It is thought to be an ancient monastery on a very high rock. It has a neighbouring sister rock which you can also climb, which has this strange temple at the bottom. Near the top is a white Buddha. And at the very top you can see the main rock, Sigiriya. There is always monsoon rain somewhere in Sri Lanka. There are even more steps up the main rock. And you do have to go early to avoid the coachloads of tourists. There are rock paintings and huge claws at the top, thought to be of a lion. These final steps outside the barrier seemed to be the ancient steps used by the monks. At the very top we were greeted by a lizard and a lazy dog lying in the centre, right at the top of the monastery. From Sigiriya you can also arrange an elephant safari at Kordala National Park. It's likely there will be a lot of other jeeps there too, but you can still witness interesting elephant behaviour. I learnt that elephants are capable of self-awareness and communicate subsonically using sounds not audible to the human ear. I also learnt that there used to be thousands of elephants in Sri Lanka, but due to increase in human population, their numbers are declining. We cycled on 100 kilometres to Kandy. Kandy is the gateway to the hill country and used to be the capital of the ancient kings of Sri Lanka. It's 500 metres above sea level, and I was hoping the ancient kings had chosen a cool spot. My temperature hopes were finally rewarded as we began the 1600 metre ascent beyond Kandy. We split this into 2 days, as the climb was hard going and the weather closed in as we got into the tea country. The second day was a 1,000 metre climb straight up, although the landscape was beautiful the whole way. At the very top of the pass we found a cafe and were told there was a Sri Lankan cycle race coming. The support team followed with 2 spare wheels. These guys had cycled up 1,600 metres from Kandy in a morning. Sri Lanka's highest town is Nuwara Eliya, where you can visit the world's end. This is in a national park called the Horton Plains, which lies at 2,000 metres above sea level. It is a strange, eerie world where there still live leopards and wild boar. A special plant also grows here, called Nelu. These Nelu species only flower like this once every 12 years. If you start at dawn and get to the World's End viewpoint early, you are rewarded with fantastic panoramic views. We were having breakfast when suddenly a monkey appeared and stole my banana. He started feasting right on the edge of the precipice. We walked on before the mists descend. Later we were back on the bikes to visit the famous tea factory built by Thomas Lipton. In the 19th century, Thomas Lipton and others discovered that Sri Lanka has the ideal climate for growing tea. I was sad I wasn't allowed to take pictures inside his old factory, but the smell of tea inside was overwhelming. The process involves a number of stages of drying, sifting and chopping, but only takes 24 hours from start to finish for each pack of tea. Each tea plucker, however, has to pick 20 kilograms of fresh leaves per day. I have always wondered how we get different types of tea. And in fact, I discovered that it is exactly the same species that produces all the different types. With the exception of white tea, it is just a matter of the altitude it's grown at and then how finely it's chopped that affects the flavour and strength of tea. So, is tea good for us? Well, actually, the health benefits are still debated, although it is possible that moderate consumption may help to reduce blood pressure. I found an interesting plaque as I cycled away from the plantation. After our time in the hills, we were due to cycle back down to the heat of the coast. Despite regular breaks at local roadside cafes for fresh coconuts, it was still hard going.
Resting in the boiling midday heat, ready to go anytime.
There are also lots of roadside dogs in Sri Lanka. But I survived them and we made it back down to the lowlands. Our itinerary took us on another 100 kilometres south to Bundala Bird Park. There is an entrance fee, but local guest houses can arrange a jeep and driver to pick you up at dawn. There are a few monkeys in the park. and lots of smaller birds, but also larger birds like these beautiful painted storks. But my favourite birds were the wild peacocks. Bundala is a peacock paradise. It was a cloudy morning in the park which contrasted with the brilliance of their feathers. Strangely, the iridescent plumage of peacocks is not due to pigment. The only pigment in a peacock's feathers is melanin, which gives the feathers a uniform brown colour. All the other colours are caused by an alternative optical effect to pigment, called structural coloration. This alternative method of producing colour causes iridescence, and is the same method used by butterflies and beetles. The colour is actually caused by the barbs and barbules on each feather, and the way these reflect light. It has been shown that the length of the barbules in the tail feathers of a peacock correspond to complex mathematical equations. And peacocks are the largest creature to use this method of iridescent structural coloration. But soon it was time to head back for breakfast.
The biggest challenge of the holiday so far for Sean was how to get down all the hoppers for breakfast.
The wife of our guest house owner had made us delicious coconut hoppers with fried eggs for breakfast. And in the evening she made us a lovely spicy Sri Lankan curry. But we still had a bit of relaxing to do near the end of our trip, and a small spot of whale watching before taking our bikes on a short train ride back to Colombo. First we saw the dorsal fin of a Bright's whale. But Sri Lanka is now recognised to be one of the world's most important homes of the blue whale. We briefly saw its tail flukes. Blue whales live year-round in these waters, but are increasingly endangered. 4 major fast shipping routes pass just to the south of Sri Lanka, and last year 31 blue whales were found washed up dead. There is a campaign for large ships to reduce their speed. So what is it in the end that makes Sri Lanka suitable as a cycling destination? Well, for me it was the hill country. The hills can provide a cool circuit and can stretch any cyclist.